Have you ever had a miscommunication with anyone so far? Most likely. I think all of us sometimes may have miscommunication or conflicts with others. Because human mind is very complex, the message sent out may not be perceived as intended. Communication is about sharing a feeling or thought with another person through both verbal and nonverbal communication methods. And interestingly, only 7% of communication is verbal. Isn't that amazing? So if you think by saying something to another person, you've communicated effectively, I'm not sure. Let's see. The reason is that each mind perceives single message differently. Because of the communication barriers, part of the message could be deleted, expanded, or distorted, therefore perceived differently. To emphasize on the importance of communication styles, Tony Robbins has indicated that the quality of your life is determined by the quality of your communication. Isn't that amazing? Have you ever thought about that? That the quality of your life is dependent on the quality of your communication? I never became aware on this concept until Tony Robbins indicated that. Communication is an integral part of human life. We all communicate all the time, from the time we wake up from the sleep, wake up in the morning until we go to bed. We are all communicating. To emphasize on the importance of communication, one of the NLP presuppositions say that you cannot not communicate, meaning that even if you choose not to act or take action or respond, you are communicating that. So, and all stress and pain and conflicts we experience in life is in a relationship with other people arises from miscommunication. This clarifies the importance of effective communication skills. And that's why the quality of our life is dependent on the quality of our communication. Now that we know the importance of communication, the question is, how can we communicate effectively? To establish an effective communication, Stephen Covey, in his best-selling book, has indicated to first seek to understand, then to be understood. See the sequence: first understand and then to be understood. This is very fundamental. This is very crucial. To establish an effective communication, you need to first create a rapport, or build a rapport with another person. And how to build a rapport? You need to pay attention to both verbal and non-verbal clues in communication. To make your job easier, today I'm going to share with you 4 communication styles through which you can take your communication to the next step. Understanding these 4 communication styles that I'm going to share with you today will help you to improve the way you understand, you perceive the messages, the other person, and then the way you communicate back with your audience, with your person, the other person that you are in communication with. So when I present the characteristics of each style, please pay attention to the details, to the identifiers, and figure out your communication styles. So I'm going to share 4 communication styles. When I go through each, think of yourself and see where you are. Which communication style are you more dominant? You may have pieces of each style, but your dominant communication style would be one of those. Okay, so now let's jump into the communication styles. In order to review the communication styles, I want to review from these perspectives. So we have 4 communication styles that I'm going to share with you: direct, initiating, analytical, and supportive. And the way I go through each is by reviewing like how they like to be seen in collaboration with others, how they appear, how they share their feelings, how would others describe them when working on a project, how they work, how do they collaborate, may negatively perceived as like what, how they would be perceived negatively by other people, as a leader, how they would be perceived, and a favorite way to work by them. So let's get started and go through each one by one. The first communication style that I like to talk to you about is direct communication style. A direct style is decisive and right to the point without any considerations. A direct communication person is focused, result-oriented, goal-oriented, and ambitious. You may perceive her as a strong-willed or demanding. She measures progress by achievements, and success is motivated by challenges. Now let's go through each of the characteristics that I just mentioned. In terms of how this person likes to be perceived, he or she would like to be perceived as a decisive person, determined person. You find this communication style mainly among leaders, managers, or those who know exactly what they want in their life or in their communication or in their relationship. In collaborating with others, they appear more competitive. They want to be best. When it comes to sharing feelings, they appear to be a little bit reserved, meaning that they don't like to share very much. Others would describe them as result-oriented, and it makes sense because at the beginning, they know what exactly they want. That's why we call them direct communicators. When working on a project, they are ambitious. Some may perceive them negatively as strong-willed. That's the way they may be perceived negatively. As a leader, they would be perceived as very focused. Their vision is kind of narrow and focused on what exactly matters to them the most. And the favorite way to work is by delegating. They love delegating tasks to others. That's their management or leadership kind of style. At work, they may display more concern for results than relationship and does not easily share feelings. They say exactly what they mean and generally use a tone of voice that is very forthright, direct and forthright. Thus, in communicating with them, I would prefer to narrow down the information I want to share with them and be very specific and show them results. That's what exactly they are after, results. What is the results? They're very result oriented. Also, don't get offended by their direct language. They don't mean anything negatively. It's just the way they are, right? So this is the first communication style. Ask yourself, are you there? Is this your dominant communication style? But don't rush because there are 3 more communication styles we'll go through and then at the end see where you are. So the importance of this is that when you identify your communication style and when you understand the clues of these communication styles at the beginning of initiating your communication with another person, you can figure out, okay, what communication style is this person? And then when you learn that, when you figure that out, you can tune your communication style or align your communication so that you can communicate more effectively. You got the point? Okay, excellent. The next communication style that I like to talk about is initiating. Initiating communicators value interacting with others and sharing stories. They're great storytellers. Now let's see what are their characteristics. They like to be seen as cautious. They, in collaboration with others, they are very precise. When it comes to sharing feelings, they're private. Others would describe them as disciplined, When working on a project, they are very persistent. Some may perceive negatively as perfectionist. As a leader, would be perceived as problem solver. Favorite way to work is by working independently. They like to be independent. Let me see. Yes. So that's the 8 areas that I reviewed with you. Okay, so best way to communicate with them is to allow them time for socializing at the beginning of the meeting and create a friendly environment to talk, because they love to talk. They love to share stories. In my coaching engagements, when one challenge that I have is that I have got to make sure that I stay on task. We can get so lost in getting to know each other when in a meeting that I may forget the task that I have to accomplish in my session. If you ask these type of people initiating style a single question, a question that the answer is yes, no, or single word, don't expect such a short answer. They will tell you stories. All right. Next communication style is analytical. Analytical, the name conveys a little bit more about how they are, right? This style is precise, exact, and logical. An analytical person is slow and cautious in his pace and likes a structure and functional environment. Lots of engineers fall into this type, very detail-oriented and fact-based. They like to be seen as sociable. In collaborations with others, they are spontaneous. When it comes to sharing feelings, they are self-assured. Others would describe them as fun-loving. When working on a project, they are enthusiastic. Some may perceive negatively as impulsive, and as a leader would be perceived as a risk taker. So they take notes and pay attention to the details, and they often have lots of questions. The reason is they want to better understand. And usually they ask right questions. You know what? They pay attention to the details. And in order for them to understand, to digest, they ask questions. They see a concept from different angles. It's not common with other communication styles. If you have one of these people in your team, make sure that you communicate with them accordingly. If you do not give them detailed information, they will feel frustrated. When I see these characteristics in my coaching client, this tips me off right away that I have an analytical communicator in front of me. Now I need to be very logical and organized in providing and presenting my material. I need to give them plenty of time to ask questions and be patient with them to listen what they have to say, what questions they may have, because I understand that they really value understanding the information. Now we get to the fourth and last communication style, which is supportive. This communicator is often steady and calm, very people-oriented, listening and less talking. Let's see the characteristics. They like to be seen as patient. In collaborating with others, they appear to be very collaborative. Remember, supportive. They collaborate. They want to help. When it comes to sharing feelings, they are very sympathetic. Others would describe them as gentle. When working on a project, they are purposeful. Some may perceive negatively as indecisive because they may appear that they are not quite sure, they need some more time. That's why they may negatively perceived as indecisive. As a leader, would be perceived as dependable. because they want to support, so people think that they are dependable. And their favorite way to work is by brainstorming. They don't like conflict or drama. They like it when there is a harmony and peace. Nurses and teachers fall into this category. Due to their active listening skills, others sees them as cooperative and dependable, as I mentioned. The way I can identify them at the beginning of a session is that they are a little bit shy and quiet and reserved. So that tips me off that I'm communicating with an a supportive person. I don't know about the time. I think I'm about the time. So in summary, I just scratched the surface of such a profound topic. When you take the time to learn these communication styles, you will increase the effectiveness of your communication by matching your communication style with the communication style of the person whom you are communicating with. And the 4 communication styles I reviewed in today's session is direct, analytical, supportive, and initiating. At the end, I'd like you to remember that first seek to understand, then to be understood. The quality of your life is determined by the quality of your communication, and you cannot not communicate. Hope you enjoyed this presentation. The purpose, as I mentioned, was to review the communication styles and effective communication, the importance of effective communication, so that you can use in your leadership, in your day-to-day life, in communicating with whomever you are in contact with. Back to you, Mrs. Host.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mehrdad. It was awesome.
Okay.
Very informative.
Thank you.